Oh yeah, it finally happened. I finally made the decision and the move to jump into motion for my SimRig platform. As you can see from here, we have some massive boxes waiting for us to unbox and figure out what it is that we have in them, as well as some other stuff such as this pedal plate from CMX Pro, which will be also testing out on my rig. It is worth mentioning though that this work requires a tremendous amount of effort, and it begins right now with me tearing my rig apart. I am not going to force you to watch me go through all this pain, so this series will be made up of 3 or like probably 2 to 3 videos for me not to make each video freaking long, because again it took me 3 whole days for me to complete the whole assembly of the motion platform. So this is the first video again, and here you will see me disassembling my rig, unboxing all the stuff for the motion platform, putting it together because it is not like ready out of the box from a cabling's point of view. It is kind of turnkey as they claim it is, but only if you compare it with the DIY counterpart that they used to sell. And again, I haven't mentioned what the motion platform was that I got. You'll get to see it once I get to the unboxing. And here we are. The platform that I went for is the eRacing Lab RS Mega Plus motion platform. One of the main reasons I went with this platform was clearly money, the cost. If you compare this platform as far as the pricing is concerned with the competition for the same type of actuators with the same travel length, you're probably talking about $6,000 or $7,000 off in price between this solution and any other stuff out there on the market. Okay, so here we have one of the actuators already assembled, and the quality is just second to none. Really love the new mounting brackets. Really easy for you to mount them on your rig, which is really good. All right, so that's pretty much it for how the actuators look. It's going to be the same for the rest of the 3. So let's go ahead and unbox the other little box that came with these actuators box here. Okay, so here we have multiple stuff, starting with the Thanos controller, which now comes, by the way, with some fun protecting the pins, which is something I didn't see on other people's unboxing. So it is really nice to see eRacing Labs improving the packaging. We got some shielded USB cable for the Thanos controller, connection to the PC. Really nice to have a shielded cable. Here we have the e-stop, which is a separate purchase. It doesn't come with the bundle. And here we have the weight motion compensation sensor. By the way, about the motion compensation sensor, I hear SimHub is doing this in software, so I may not actually need this sensor at all. Right, so this is one of the worst things that came in a package. A bunch of really old T-nuts with these metal notches that can end up scratching your rig. So I didn't use this. I thankfully have some spare T-nuts. All right, so let's move on into unboxing the other massive box. And this one is going to be the one with the motors and the servos and a bunch of cables. I understand this whole e-racing lab platform could be a little bit intimidating at first, but trust me, if I was able to build this up, you should be able to build it up. So it just time. You need a lot of time. Don't expect to build this whole thing in like a single sit, a single night. That's just not gonna happen unless you just want to like mount the actuators to your rig and do absolutely no cable management at all, and just throw the servos in a corner or something. A bunch of cables. These are the one to connect the Thanos to the servo, and these are the servos. And here we have a power strip, which comes, by the way, with the EMI filter. Is what eRacing Lab supports it. And we have a bunch of power cables, which we have to connect to these servos or screw to the servos, as you can see here from one of the ends. And that's what's going to connect to this power strip. Here we have the motors for them, one for each actuator. Came really nicely packaged, and looks like it passed quality. However, we're just gonna put this to the test and make sure that it does perform as the claims on this little tag here. Right, so let's go ahead and start mounting the motors on the actuators. I'm just gonna show you how it is done on one of them, and then it just kind of like rinse and repeat for the other threes. Don't forget to use the documentation or the user guide they will provide you with, because it had a lot of useful instructions on what the spacing should be between the different components here to avoid metal with metal friction that can actually end up causing a lot of vibration and noise, and also end up wearing the various components here. Just keep that in mind. I thankfully had a caliper in my house, so I was able to measure that spacing properly here, following their suggestion on the user guide. All right, so here we are going to unwrap the Thanos controller, because we are going to get ready to set up the servos, do the wiring, and also test the motors and actuators to make sure everything is working properly. Here's one of the servos. And let me show you what the length is of each of the servos, which can come useful when you are deciding which cabinet to get to be able to host these servos. Here it is. Just keep in mind that all the wiring that I did here was following the documentation they provide you with, and some of the cabling here could vary between regions. For example, the cable that goes from a servo to the power strip, in other words, the power cable for the servo, that one goes with this type of wiring that you're seeing here. Like, just follow the colors and just put it in this location here if you are, for example, in the UK or maybe Ireland. So just keep in mind that if you are in the US, this could be totally different. So make sure to follow the documentation that will say that will share with you. All right, so I just plugged in the USB cable for the Thanos, and now we're just going to do a quick test. Okay, so the first motor and actuator working as expected and really quiet. Kind of surprised. I thought it was going to be louder just based on how the whole thing looked, but it is really quiet, so that's really good. Okay, so we're going to do the same test with the other motors and actuators. I didn't have any footages of me testing each of these servos, but I did, and they all came up fine, so we're good. Make sure that when you are rewiring this stuff, like, you turn off the power straight. You don't want to end up getting, you know, an electrical shock or something. So safety first. All right, all good.